Welcome to HoodooTube, your one-stop shop for reviews of fantasy, horror, and supernatural entertainment for the African diaspora. One movie that is incredibly entertaining for its portrayal of African spiritual practices is The Believers, which was an American horror movie that premiered in 1987. While this story does center a white family, and likely was criticized for its dark portrayal of Santeria and African spirituality, The Believers taps into taboo topics, a topic many of us now know is very real for hidden groups of wealthy people, including child sacrifice, allegedly. In this film, a recently widowed psychologist and single dad who works with the police stumbles into gruesome murders of children that are clearly ritualistic in nature. Though he is no longer Catholic, his growing disturbing and unexplainable experiences begin to make him question what is possible. I think the acting in this movie is top tier, and Martin Sheen does a great job of playing a loving dad who is still grieving his recently deceased wife, but trying to stay strong for his son Chris. As the doctor, Cal, and his son move into their new home, they hire a nanny, a Puerto Rican woman named Carmen, who lovingly takes care of the family and teaches them Spanish along the way. It took me watching this film a few times for me to realize that the entire time that Carmen works for the doctor and his son, that she's performing her own Santeria magic on the family, blessing and protecting them. She even takes an earring from their new landlady named Jessica, even performing a love spell on her and Cal, which eventually works. Santeria is a prominent religion and spiritual practice in Puerto Rico and the Latin diaspora that venerates the Orisha, or African gods that come from the Yoruba people of Nigeria. But like all religions and spiritual practices, you can use these spiritual teachings for good or for evil. And many of the people in this story are using African spirituality for personal gain. While Cal and the New York police force continue to find the bodies of young boys and ritualistic paraphernalia, even members of the police who are aware of brujeria, or evil witches in Spanish, begin to become marked by the evil occultists who are performing these rituals. Cal eventually gets connected to a local community organization for believers of Santeria, cleverly called Ashe. Ashe is the Yoruba word for spirit, a word used as a blessing. Cal confronts the leader of Ashe, a Santero named Oscar, who defends Santeria believers after he's accused of being an accessory to murder. One of the creepiest characters in this film is Paulo, a quiet black man who clearly is connected to the evil occultists, and in one scene at a fundraiser for the Ache Community Center, Paulo arrives and seemingly attempts to cast a spell on Jessica, Cal's new love interest. But what Cal, and not even Oscar, the Santero, don't realize is that they are all surrounded by the occultists who empower Paulo and are committing the murders. In one heartbreaking scene, Cal comes home to find Carmen performing an intense ritual on his son Chris, causing him to fire her, kick her out, and destroy her protection charms. But because he can't tell the difference between good and evil rituals, he thinks it's all the same, though his mind eventually changes. Eventually, Cal and Oscar realize that Cal's son Chris may be at risk to be attacked by this clan of ritual occultists. Even in spite of his own doubts in the supernatural, Cal agrees to do a protection ritual with the Santero Oscar in order to protect his son. Without giving too much away, we do finally find out who is after Chris, but there's a lot of creepy deaths of characters throughout this film. Eventually, Cal finds out that the mysterious deaths of children in New York that were deemed overdoses were actually murders, and that he can't even trust the police because even they are working with the evil occultists.